Have you ever really thought about where culture comes from? Is it just something we inherit, or is it something we can actively build for ourselves? Today, we're going to dive into the amazing story of Barrio Logan, a neighborhood in San Diego that proves culture is something you can create, you can fight for, and you can literally paint onto the walls of your city.
Okay, so let's set the scene. Picture this. It's April 1970. There's this plot of land under a massive new freeway overpass, and it's about to be turned into a state highway patrol office. The thing is, the community had been promised a park. So what did they do? As muralist Victor Ochoa remembers it, it was mothers and kids who showed up, stood right in front of the bulldozers, and formed human chains to reclaim that land. This wasn't just a protest, it was the very first act of creating something new.
But how did things even get to such a traumatic breaking point? To really get the fight for Chicano Park, you've got to understand the years of disruption that came before it. This community was quite literally being torn apart.
So, all through the 1960s, these massive infrastructure projects just rolled into Barrio Logan. First, Interstate 5 came along and sliced the neighborhood right in two. Then, the Coronado Bridge added another huge layer of concrete and steel, casting the shadow over people's homes. And it wasn't just about dividing the community. These projects brought in all this industrial blight. We're talking junkyards and big trucks right next to where families were living.
And really, this is what it all boils down to. This huge disconnect. On one side, you had the state's plan for a highway patrol office on this last little piece of open land. But on the other, you had a community that was desperate for a green space, a park for their kids to play, a place where people could just gather. Discovering the state's real plan? Well, that was the absolute final straw.
So, guess what? The community's protest, it worked. They won. They got their park. But they didn't just stop there. Oh no. They started this incredible new project, transforming the cold, gray pillars of that freeway overpass into a vibrant canvas of their own history and their own identity.
And what a canvas it is. Today, Chicano Park is home to the largest collection of outdoor murals in the entire country. We're talking nearly 100 incredible works of art covering these massive concrete pillars. It's just a breathtaking sight, turning what was once a symbol of division into a landmark of unity.
And you have to understand, these murals are so much more than just pretty pictures. They are a living history book. They aren't just paintings. They're like pages, telling the stories of Chicano identity, from ancient Aztec roots all the way to modern-day struggles. This art basically became a public textbook, making sure the community's history is seen and understood by everyone.
This quote from Victor Ochoa really just says it all, doesn't it? The fight for Chicano Park was a powerful act of cultural preservation. It was about saying no to commercialization, no to being erased, and ensuring the neighborhood would reflect the people who lived there, not just become another generic strip of parking lots. So, the story of Chicano Park isn't just some local tale. It's a powerful example of a much bigger idea about how culture actually works.
It really makes you wonder, right? What is that powerful force that drives a community to do something like this? Well, believe it or not, there's a name for this process, and it explains so much about what makes Barrio Logan so special. The term is cultural production, and it's a simple but really profound idea. Culture isn't just something that's handed down to you. It's something you make. It's this active process of creating and shaping your own identity through your actions, your art, and the experiences you share.
And you can see it so clearly in Barrio Logan. That protest to claim the park, that's cultural production. The murals telling their story, yep, cultural production. The festivals, the food, the new businesses that are popping up, it's all the community actively writing its own story, defining for itself who it is and what it values.
And that creative spirit didn't just stop back in the 1970s. No way. It is alive and well, and it's evolving in Barrio Logan today, blending these deep-seated traditions with brand new, exciting ideas.
So you've got these places, these absolute cornerstones like Los Cuatro Milpas. This spot has been serving authentic food since 1933. It's the kind of place with deep, deep roots where you'll see everyone from the mayor to local construction workers all lining up for a taste of tradition.
And then you have the new wave. Right nearby is Mujeres Brew House, which is San Diego's first Latina-owned brewery. It's just a perfect example of evolution, creating a brand new tradition that's still so deeply connected to the community's heritage and spirit. And that spirit is just everywhere you look. You've got Sail Loca making sustainable fashion from reclaimed fabrics. You have Border X brewing these amazing Latin-inspired beers. New businesses are constantly bringing in fresh flavors and ideas, but they're doing it in a way that respects and adds to the neighborhood story, not erases it. This process even has its own name, gentrification. Now, unlike gentrification, which we hear about all the time and often pushes longtime residents out, gentrification is about development from within. It's a more humane, person-based way of growing that celebrates history and empowers the community that's already there.
So, when you take a step back, what can we all learn from this incredible story of Barrio Logan? Well, it offers a really powerful lesson about the role we can play in our own communities. Here's the bottom line. Barrio Logan shows us that culture is not a passive thing we just receive. It's an active thing that we do. Through art, activism, business, and just plain shared effort, a community can build a space that truly reflects who they are and tells their own story, on their own terms.
And that leaves us with a final thought. Culture isn't some dusty thing stuck in a museum. It's a living story that's being written every single day all around us. The real question is, what part are you going to play in writing the next chapter?